and Sussex universities, in partnership with Practical Action, carried out a field research study which is a part of a broad program entitled Rising Powers, Clean Development and the Low Carbon Transition in Sub-Saharan Africa. The program seeks to examine how, why, and to what extent China and Brazil are enabling the transition to low-carbon energy systems in Southern Africa, and to assess the consequent implications for the affordability, accessibility, and sustainability of energy services in the region. Implemented in 2 phases, the first phase of the project was completed in 2013. During this phase, case study projects on clean energy, financed by both the Rising Powers and other actors, were identified in Mozambique. The second phase of the program, which is this research study, investigates the on-the-ground implications of projects implemented by the Rising Powers, delivering clean energy for households and communities in Southern Africa. The specific objectives are to understand the views and experiences of the local people, to explore how energy services and technologies are organized at local level and how relevant technological and social changes impact on poverty reduction and income generation. Through detailed community and key stakeholder consultations, this video carries the community voices about the impacts and challenges they are facing. The field research focused on clean energy projects implemented in the provinces of Maputo, Manica, and Zambezia. The projects were the Cleanstar ethanol gel cooking project, solar panel manufacturing in Maputo, Pico and mini-grid solar systems in Manica and Zambezia, the mini hydro project by Funai in Zambezia, and the micro hydro power project in Manica. Cleanstar Energy Mozambique was the first market-based clean energy project in the country. It is a partnership between a local Mozambican company, Zoe Enterprises, and Cleanstar Ventures. Cleanstar project was financed by the George Soros Foundation, Danish government, Novozymes, and Bank ABC, a local bank. The objective was to produce, package, and sell ethanol-based fuel as an alternative to charcoal and firewood in the urban areas of Mozambique. The objective was to produce, package, and sell ethanol-based fuel as an alternative to charcoal and firewood in the urban areas of Mozambique. Ethanol was to be produced at a factory located in Dondo district of Sofala province, which was then repackaged into small quantities at a bottling facility in Matola. Ethanol was processed from locally grown cassava, but failure to get adequate quantities due to unviable pricing led to ethanol gel being imported from South Africa and Swaziland. Ethanol had to be fired in a specialized stove that was also imported from South Africa. The fuel with the brand name of Nzilo was first pilot marketed in Maputo. This was targeted at food preparing vendors and households in Maputo. The stove and the fuel were highly accepted in Maputo, and it was reported that over 70,000 customers were buying Nzilo on a regular basis. At the time of the research, this promising project was on the verge of collapse due to the alleged mismanagement of the business and failure by the factory to attract farmers to sell their cassava to the facility due to unviable prices offered. Nzilo market system was well developed. The production facility was complemented with the gel imports from South Africa and Swaziland. This was through a special duty waiver that government had granted the project. The fuel and stoves were retailed through one of the leading fish distributors who are located in all major markets in Maputo. There were stove and fuel promoters at local level who were involved in raising awareness and also promoting the products at household level. The combined duty waiver and the subsidized cost of stove through carbon credits enhanced the affordability of the stove and hence was able to compete with charcoal, the preferred choice of cooking. At household level, the stove and the fuel were well accepted. The majority of users indicated that the stove was clean, fast cooking, and affordable compared to charcoal. At the time of the survey, gel fuel was not available on the market. This was due to partnership challenges facing the major actors in the venture. As a result, the users had gone for more than 3 months without the product. The main ingredient in the production of the ethanol was cassava, a local staple food grown widely across the country. Farmers were not willing to sell their entire crop to the factory, as it is a strategic food reserve, and also it tended to sell at a higher price when sold as a fruit than a fuel. The National Energy Fund, FONAE, is operating Mozambique's first photovoltaic module production facility in Maputo, funded by the Indian government. With a total production capacity of 15 megawatt peak, the factory's capacity is currently limited to 0.6 megawatt peak. The range of products is 10 to 150 watt peak solar panels, mainly targeted at FONAE's sponsored project. The long-term plan is to reduce the cost of solar panels in a country as it looks to boost access to affordable energy. The factory is yet to aggressively penetrate the local solar market. On the market, there is a heavy dominance of imported solar panels from South Africa, which are costly compared to the solar panels manufactured at the Maputo plant. It costs on average $1 a watt peak for a solar panel from the factory compared to $3 per watt peak for the imported panel. All the materials used in the panel assembly are imported. The glass is from Italy and the wafers are from Taiwan, whilst the aluminium frame is from South Africa. The plant can, however, replace some of the materials like the imported aluminium frames by taking advantage of the local aluminium smelter plant that can potentially reduce the cost of the solar panels. The plant has facilitated skills transfer in terms of solar panel manufacturing and testing to the local Mozambicans who are now employed in the factory and involved in manufacturing. In Mozambique, off-grid solar systems are the most common use of solar energy, mainly targeted at small-scale sites where the grid is unlikely to reach. FONAE has made significant investments in this area as part of energy service projects for households, rural centers, clinics, schools, and government offices. In Mavonde and Tengwa in Milanje district, these systems are providing electricity in various sectors of the community.
Bem, nós estamos sendo beneficiados por este projeto de iluminação. Já estávamos com sérios problemas, muito mais aqui no lar, em que os alunos passavam de sérios problemas, mas agora já temos os problemas. Os alunos podem estudar, podem fazer suas revisões sem muitos problemas, por mais que seja uma corrente que tem limitação, mas podem estudar sem problemas. Apesar de que não temos domínio de como fazer a manutenção, mas os que vieram fazer esse projeto têm nos instruído para ver se é que podemos ter um domínio do uso da própria corrente. Por isso estamos agradecidos e pedimos que haja mais também esse espírito de poder nos ajudar, por exemplo, nas necessidades que ainda existem por passar ou por terminar.
O benefício que temos cerca da energia solar nos ajuda a revisão muito mais, porque tem tido vezes horários difíceis de fazer outras tarefas, então à noitinha, aquela hora muito calma, aproveitamos para fazer uma revisão. Pode ser que seja em grupo ou individual, mas muitas das vezes tem sido em grupo, assim, para podermos debater as matérias um pouco atrasadas ou as matérias, como posso dizer, as matérias um pouco que custam mais, que vão fazer exames, sim.
O impacto dos painéis aqui é muito positivo. Nós temos aqui maternidade, já não ficamos nas escuras, conseguimos assistir parto à luz, dia e noite. Não temos assim problemas. Também temos essa geleira também que funciona através dos painéis de vacinas.
Most Pico solar systems in Mavonde were non-functional due to lack of technical backup. Most systems were down for over 2 years. The users were loaned the systems on the understanding that they would be paid over a period of time. FONAIA is in charge of maintenance and operation of the systems. However, due to lack of adequate personnel, these systems were taking time to be repaired.
Matambudziko etinawo panapa ngenyaya yekuti magetsi chowada andibasa kuti makaitawo magetsi tokwanisa fridge vantu vaone madhiringi akatonhorera karinga adoro ringa rakatonhorera saka iye zvinezvi purani yacho yekuti tinge tiinazvo zvirozvo hatina saka ameno kuti dai zvaikwanisika tinge tiinazvo ndoona kuti anomuvha wacho zvimwe zvingachinja munzvimbo kana nenyama tokwanisa kunga titengesawo vana hove zvinooneka kuenda kuodawo mafishi kumanika saka choda makatonhorera saka achikwanisi kuti ungachitora nguva imwe chete nekutochitipedza nguva yacho saka pana firiji unokwanisa kudini unokwanisa kuisawo mufiriji chasara chonga chakandonaka saka ndo zviro zvinoti tinetsei izvozvo dai kanga taikwanisawo kuti tiwane firiji.
Matambudziko atoripo nekuti mabhanga tinawo totengesa marefresh kwedu anonga asikaoni anopisa hatitengesi majarini atengesi marefresh kuvana zvimwe zviro zvese zvinoda firiji fanika rangu bhanga kana doro aritotengesi ngoti atingatengesi sereveja inopisa tinotodawo kuti tiite firiji tiise madoro edu zvese zvinotonhora tichitengesa.
Solar systems are on demand in all these areas. However, access to reliable and technically apt solar system suppliers and installers are not available in all the places visited. At Mavonde, there were notices for customers willing to have a solar system installed at their place to register with a post administrator. In 2 days, 65 requests have been received by the office. The communities were happy with the financial arrangement as it was affordable and practical to them. The vendors, who are stocking and selling solar systems for the district's main markets, are expensive and need cash up front. This is not affordable to the majority of people who earn less than $2 per day. In March 2013, FONAIA established a solar mini-grid with funding from the Belgian government at Chinambuzi in Manica district. The mini-grid is only providing electricity to 10 shops and 10 houses for government workers at the center, including a clinic, school, police and administrative posts. At the time of the visit, the system was producing a mere 3.6 kilowatts peak and thus could not be extended to the larger community.
Itasangana kuti zvinji zvimwe zviro zvitari urishandise kudai ngefish tanga sikatenge fish yedzimona nozimani makarapawa kuti semfiriji tanga tisina firiji uye makoko takumwa makoko ane firiji mwana manje kana pachipitari apo anytime kesinonkara katobaka ipo natikasvika kana kuti pakati pousiku kuti kudza infirimiro tibatsiro pana unobeseke rodini rotibatsira akasununguka neso povu iri panapa iri kubatsirika ndomagisa ngoti esari zviro zvavo zvinoiteswa mashopu musongo zviri kusenza ngezvemagetsi ngezvemafiriji zviri kufambira zvakanaka.
The system was managed and operated by FONAIA from the provincial office. FONAIA has limited capacity to oversee all the energy systems in the province. The capacity of the system is low and it operates for a limited time during the day. It is switched on at sunrise and shut down at around 8 p.m. The greater majority of the community desires to have power but cannot be connected due to the capacity constraints. Energizing Development, ENDEV, is an impact-oriented initiative between Netherlands, Germany, Norway, Australia, the United Kingdom and Switzerland. ENDEV promotes the supply of modern energy technologies to households and small-scale businesses. Since its start in 2005, ENDEV has taken a leading role in promoting access to sustainable energy for all. GIZ acts as a lead agency for the implementation of the Energizing Development Program. In Mozambique, The program rehabilitated the old microhydro mills used for maize milling by improving on their efficiency and adding electricity generation. The microhydro schemes are owned and operated by individuals who receive financing to set up the power generation component of the schemes. The finance was part loan and part grant. The loan facility, which was concessionary, was for the installation of new turbines, generators, and control equipment. It was payable over a 5-year period. The grant was for the erection of the mini-grid to service the energy consumers. All energy services are provided at a fee. Households and businesses in the area pay a fixed monthly tariff. In addition, the operator also runs a milling service. This research is also complemented by a consultancy study undertaken by Practical Action. For this study, 2 operators were interviewed, and during the consultancy study for Fonai, 6 microhydro schemes were evaluated, including the 2.
Ndakatanga muna 1988 kugaya ndichiita zvichigayo zviri zvekukoma ndichigadzira ndega. Muna 2007 ndo pendakatanga kuita zvemagetsi, asi akazotanga kubaka mu 2008 mwedzi wa September. Pamuchini wemagetsi ndakatanga nedzimba 20 ndozosvika ndozokonekta dzimweni kusvikira dzakwana 52. Saka mashopu ari kushanda zvinezvi 23, dzimba 29. Mashopu anobhadhara 300, asi mudzimba vanobhadhara 250 metikash. Nditorina imwe nzvimbo yandiri kutogadzirisa kuti nditoise imwe turbine, nekuti nekuwa nzvimbo yandakatarisira kuti ine mvura yakati wandise kupfuura nzvimbo yandirini. Saka chinangwa changu ngechekuda kutoita business rekutengesa magetsi ikako. Chikonzero chiripo ndechekuti ndikaitawo dzimba kuma 200 kana kuma 150 ndinonga ndanawo chikubata chingaitisa kuti ndingazopawo vashandi, nekuti basa harifaniri kupuruvha inini ndega. Ndinofanira kunga ndinawo vashandi, ndinawo zvinezvi ndichine 2. Asi ngekufamba kwenguva manje ndinofanira kuwandudzawo vamwe vanhu, nekuti mubasa mwacho muna munotoda vamwe vanhu vanoshanda.
Of the microhydro systems visited, 50% were non-functional. The remaining systems, even though operational, had low reliability and efficiency. Technical designing and sizing was poor and needs to be reworked on all microhydro systems. Capacity for technical designing and sizing is required. The main challenge faced by the systems was the continuous accumulation of silt into the 4-bay tank. The canal and the 4-bay were earth-lined and they have poor water conveyance efficiency. The high siltation and water leaks have compromised the maximum performance of the system. The electricity transmission line systems were of poor quality as the poles were small-sized and they were not treated. As a result, termites have attacked the poles and most of them are falling. The ownership of the microhydro schemes was clear, and this needs to be replicated in future systems. There is no evidence of market needs and demand assessments having been carried out. There was no linkage between the system capacity and the end user loads, and thus the houses were connected until the system started tripping. In addition, the energy consumption is not metered and the users pay a fixed monthly fee. There is a general agreed tariff of 200 to 250 metcash for households and 300 metcash for businesses that is charged to consumers regardless of the energy consumed per given period. In some cases where the system was connected to the hospital and school, these were paying 2,000 metcash per month. The figures were thumb-sucked and bear no linkage to the investment and profitability of the venture. Equipment for micro-hydro systems was financed through a soft loan facility. The operators paid for the turbine, generator, and powerhouse infrastructure over a 5-year period. 3 of these operators have fully paid the loan, whilst 3 failed due to poor system performance. In Majaua Maya, Malanje district, FONAI established a 767 kilovolt amps mini hydro scheme. Started in 2013, the project is funded by the European Union. Once completed, it will emerge to be the largest decentralized mini grid in Southern Africa. The first phase of the project has established a 4-kilometer high voltage line, and the next phase, which is still under construction, will extend it to 40 kilometers. All houses, schools, health center and businesses along the lines are connected. It was reported by both FONAI and the contractor on site that the system is still under testing phase and the users were not yet paying for the electricity. Each household has 1 light bulb and 1 point for power connection.
Ndipo panopata kantira magesi, ndipo magesi amene atakundulira nawo chifukwa china chonse timachita mwadongosolo. Ndiponso lokuonera nyumba timaonera, china chonse timapanga maradio chani komanso kusogolo kuno ndikufuna kukhala kotheka tipezebe zipangizo zina ndi zina zogwiritsa ntchito magesi. Kungoti magesi awawa chithandizo kwa ine mwangati munthu wabambo nchambiri, komanso wananso kumatha kuphunzira usiku akaphasidwa za kusukulu amatha kumaphunzira usiku kuzera kumphamvu ya magesi amene.
Ownership, operation and maintenance will be transferred to FONAI in the future. The extent of the sustainability of such an arrangement remains to be seen. During the construction of the system, it was observed that very little local skills were available and participation of the local community was limited. There is also high likelihood that the operators will be recruited from Maputo and Quelimane. This might not be sustainable as it will be difficult to attract skilled personnel to this isolated community with poor roads. It is not known when the testing phase of the system will end. Also, it is not clear whether the users will pay for the electricity, and if so, how much will be charged. It remains to be seen whether the households will afford the tariffs yet to be set. The needs and priorities of the communities were not adequately captured. What is critical for the community is a grinding mill service, as they currently cross the powerful Ruo River into Malawi for the services. To what extent have the clean energy interventions led to sustainable markets? The most advanced market was for the ethanol gel project, whilst the least developed is the Pico solar market system. Financial and operation issues are critical to the long-term sustainability of renewable energy technologies. Issues such as operations and maintenance, tariffs, capacity building and training are essential to consider when developing rural electrification programs. Market and demand assessments are critical before the implementation of energy access projects. Lack of local production of renewable energy technologies adds to the cost of equipment and makes maintenance more difficult and decreases local involvement. There is need for emphasis on productive use of energy. Responsible authorities need to build capacities and raise awareness on the effective use of resources. Local technical capacities need to be built for the sustainability and effective operation and maintenance of the renewable energy technologies.
As we conclude on this research, we actually we identify 3 models in terms of how clean energy is being delivered in Mozambique. The Cleanstar model has demonstrated high innovation in terms of its market development. However, it had also its own weaknesses, basically pertaining to how the partnership arrangement has been made between the various partners involved within the Cleanstar venture. We also had another challenge where, from the production side, this couldn't take up off due to farmers not taking on to the idea of selling all their crop to this processing facility which is located in Dondo. So we see that facility being closed due to lack of adequate resource to produce the ethanol. From the GIZ project, we see that it had all the critical elements for sustainability, but the major challenges we see with the GIZ model has been that the technical input has been a challenge, in that it has been of poor standard, and as a result the systems were not optimized and they were not delivering power that would ensure the economic viability of these schemes. There was also an issue related to the costing or the price of service that was agreed by the entrepreneurs. The flat tariffs were in no way linked to the financial performance of the loans given to the entrepreneurs, neither was it linked to the energy delivered to the households. So those are critical elements which I think the GIZ model fell short. With the FUNAI delivery model, it's basically a centralized model, and it's a model which we see FUNAI being involved in almost every chain of the process. However, FUNAI in itself had also its own weaknesses, in that technical capacity was a major constraint. They do not have adequate personnel to oversee all the projects which are spread out throughout the country, and most of these systems are dying down due to lack of maintenance, are dying down due to lack of repairs, and it's been one of the greatest constraints facing the FUNAI delivery models. But however, we feel in conclusion that FUNAI could equally well integrate lessons from the Cleanstar delivery model as well as the GIZ delivery models in order to improve on how they deliver clean energy in Mozambique. If we combine all these models and then we look at the large scale to say to what extent is these financing arrangements, these technical arrangements have been influencing the energy systems, the organization of energy within Mozambique. We see a whole lot of GIZ influence in terms of the approach, the best practice, critical elements of best practice from GIZ being inbuilt within their project delivery within Mozambique. the clean energy model is purely a business, a for-profit model, and that sort of influenced the way in which they were delivering clean energy in Mozambique. But when we look also at FUNAI, there is really not much influence in terms of how FUNAI, less influence from the funders or from the technical people providing technical support to FUNAI. There is less influence in terms of how they deliver their clean energy programs within Mozambique. And we believe that in conclusion, this impact of these clean energy projects could have been better if they were to be integrated with the education delivery system, with the health delivery system, with the agriculture and food production systems. This would ensure that these projects achieve much greater impact instead of standing alone as purely energy access projects.
The rising powers engagement in Mozambique's renewable energy sector remains limited. There is little or no evidence that their approach differs from Western aid agencies. Among the rising powers, India's influence in Mozambique's renewable energy technology sector has been the most significant. Whilst these renewable energy interventions have provided access to electricity to off-grid communities in Mozambique, various key issues still need to be urgently tackled to ensure their sustainability. Our observations are that these initiatives are not sustainable. Addressing critical factors such as affordability, operations and maintenance, and productive use will ensure effective energy access, a vital catalyst to a wider social and economic development.